Yeah, very good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Lasham Daily Briefing for Thursday, the 24th of July, 2025. Start off with the synoptic here. Yesterday midday, we saw the effects of that trough later on. Got a full day's flying, well into the evening as well, but definitely a different air mass that worked its way in sort of mid-afternoon. Overnight, no real change. We do have this high starting to ridge its way up from the Azores, but we're still more or less unaffected. Midday today, nothing really on the chart that's going to cause us any problems. Quite a damp air mass there at the moment. We can see out the window there's quite a lot of low cloud hanging about, and suspect that's going to continue later on in the day, although we shouldn't have too much of a problem with that in terms of flying. Uh, Going forward into midday on Friday, you can see this large occlusion spread across the whole of the UK coming in from the west, and that's associated with this low up towards Iceland. And that will pass, bringing behind it a trailing warm and cold front as well. So some much more unsettled weather coming for us in the next few days, but hopefully it should clear behind and into Monday, give us a little bit more clear as this high continues ridging, and hopefully giving us some slightly nicer weather. You can see looking at the sat pic at the moment, a lot of this lower cloud that was suspected there, and it's tracking in from sort of the north or northeast, and that's going to be sort of plaguing us this morning. Once we get a bit of heating in, though, it should raise the base a little bit, and we'll be able to get flying. Albeit there's some precipitation associated with that at the moment. There's nothing locally that's going to cause us any issues, certainly for the initial part of the day. Looking at the forecast for today, if we run that through starting at 9 o'clock, we can see that big patch up sort of towards East Anglia. Running that through, if it lets me, hour by hour, we can see thinning out, certainly in terms of its intensity, but by about 2 to 30, there's possibility of some of that rain making its way to us here. It may just come in the form of some lower cloud, but we are expecting some poorer weather from sort of 2:30, 3 o'clock onwards. Clearing into the evening, so hopefully it shouldn't cause too many problems for the evening group, and we'll manage some flying later on as well. The Odium TAF sort of tells the story really, getting 340. So again, that northwesterly or northerly wind with 8 knots, 7,000 meters of viz with haze broken at 1,200 feet, becoming in between 8 and 10 o'clock. Visibility greater than 10, there's no significant weather, view at 1,200 feet, with a prob 30 of 4,000 meter viz with drizzle scattered at 600. There's also a prob 30 of temporarily mid-morning to late morning having scattered at 2,200. And then there's a prob 40 between 2 and 7 this evening of broken at 2,200. And later on as well, 7,000 meters viz with rain and broken at 1,200. Farnborough, a similar story, really. I won't read all through it again, but in summary, it's northerly winds across the ground. It's lower clouds to begin with some possible light showers and poorer visibility, clearing into the late morning with higher bases, and then thickening up again with a bit more drizzle later on in the afternoon. Spot winds to the north of us, 340 at or 10 knots at 1,000, 2,000 respectively, and but to the south, 350 and 360 at 10. So we are expecting that northerly trend to continue. On the ground, you can see it's more or less directly from the north, possibly a little bit of a westerly component to it at the moment. By the time that cloud lifts sufficiently for us to get anything useful out of the day, it will most likely have come around with a bit of an easterly component. So we'll take a chance on 09 this morning, setting up for there. and see how we get on. If required, we can always change ends. The Metaphors forecast actually showing a slightly different picture than some of the others, showing cloud thickening up actually from 10 o'clock onwards and having this quite dense low cloud all day. I wouldn't pay too much attention to that. I do think it's going to lift in the next few hours. With the temperature here at 20 degrees in the warmest part of the day, and around 10 knots, gusting 20 from the north. Visibility down as good, so it's going to be not particularly good in practical terms, and fairly high humidity, as you can probably imagine. UV is still quite high, up at 6 and 7 for a large part of the day, so do take care, cover up. Just because the cloud's there doesn't mean the UV rays aren't getting through. GFS, slightly different view there. Slightly warmer than was predicted by the Met Office, around 22 degrees in the warmest part here, with a dew point of around 12. It's the webcam on the south side, looking to the north. See, it's very sort of grey, a lot of clag associated with uh, damp air mass we spoke about. Have a look to the west. You can see a little bit of easterly to that wind, but just low bases here. Hopefully good enough for us actually to be winch launching very shortly off of 09. Temperature now at Lasham, we've reached 16.7 with a dew point of 13.4. We'll just have a look at the estimated cloud base is around 1,300 feet. The point forecast on sky sites, see the potential flight distance on the left-hand side of the screen here. Not a huge amount to write home, but still indicating that it will be soarable today, but not huge cross-country potential. I'm sure one or two people will go for an explore. And the point forecast, again, not really recognizing the low cloud that we're seeing this morning, certainly not at this time, but is predicting that thickening up later on into the afternoon. Thermals there up to about 3.5 to 4,000 feet above the airfield, climbs between 3.5 and 4 knots. And winds at the top of the thermal, northerly or slightly northeasterly, between 15 and 20 knots throughout. Pressure around about 1018 all day, start to climb overnight into tomorrow. And just for our final sort of view on the cloud, looking at the cloud distribution here with top meteo, starting 9 o'clock local, running that through hour by hour. We can see it thinning out a little bit more Q below total to Q, but by 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, that patch that was coming in from the northeast towards East Anglia is really rather thick. Now, whether we get rain with that or not, only time will tell. It depends how it develops. But it certainly is a reduced base, and it is a very thick layer of AutoQ. So that's, I suspect, going to shut off any real potential of soaring, which slightly disagrees with what SkySight was saying. See that it does start to clear to the south into the evening, so hopefully the evening group aren't too badly affected by it. No times then, based on that forecast, not a huge amount to talk about really. 33s, Delta 132, Ash ranges, live firing. At 37, that's west of Lee, that's the winch launching of paragliders up to 1,900 feet. And at 25 to the west of us, we've got the inter-services at Middle Wallop. We'll move on now with the local airfield brief, starting with the Odium cross section. And that very much sums up all the other data sources we've looked at. Low clouds around 500 feet this morning till about 10 o'clock. They're expecting quite a sudden increase in cloud base with some scattered Q around 2,500 feet running until 1:30, 2 o'clock local, when we start to get thickening of Q leading to broken and overcast later on. We will still have some embedded queue as it starts to thicken up, but it will reduce the surface heating and the undoubtedly the soaring potential is going to reduce alongside. Surface winds, northerly, 10 knots throughout. The visibility, very poor to begin with, increasing a little bit to 20 kilometers, reducing again to 12, and then back up to 20 later on, with light showers potentially later on today and haze drizzle this morning. A lot of bookings. We've got two K21s for booked instruction and two K21s for the 5-day courses. We've got number 4, Sierra 4 and SH7 on MERV Silver and Beyond course. And there's a K21 signed to the cash list, alongside a K13 for the trial lessons. And we have plenty of single-seater availability. At the moment, there's 4 on the casual list and 1 instructor. So thank you very much, Chris, for volunteering. And the simulator is available as normal if our flying is delayed for whatever reason. So a reminder again about the Aboyne expedition, fewer and fewer places every day now. So make sure if you are thinking about it that you get in touch with the office and get your name down as quickly as possible. We've got nothing from 2XL today. And in summary, we've got unsettled conditions with low cloud throughout the day. Bases will start to increase mid-morning before reducing later on into the afternoon. Got moderate northerly winds on the ground, so do bear in mind turbulence when you're beaming the trees. Okay, we're going to get a curl over just as you're approaching around that height, so carry a little bit of extra speed and do consider that as part of your approach planning. We're on runway 09 today with cables on the south side grass, and please be ready when the cable or tug arrive. As always, don't land or taxi across this year's runways shown in red. And there is your airfield setup today with the winch line on the grass to the south, air towing from the hard runway on the north side. And any grid would be in its usual place in the top left-hand corner. That's all from me today. I will see you out there hopefully very shortly. Have a good day and keep it safe. Thank you very much.